Most fasting plans fail because they demand too much before the body learns basic flexibility. This one takes a truly different route. It builds gradually. Instead of forcing misery, it trains your metabolism to stop acting panicked around food. And that matters because visceral fat responds better to calmer signals than dramatic punishment. Visceral fat is not the soft layer you casually grab at your waist. It sits much deeper. It behaves differently. This deeper fat surrounds organs, raises inflammation, and makes fat loss feel strangely resistant. So the goal is not starvation, but creating conditions that make stored energy easier to access. But the biggest mistake happens before the schedule even starts. And if that mistake stays in place, the whole challenge feels harder than necessary. The purpose of this fast is not to prove discipline or impress anybody. The real target is stability. You want insulin lower for longer. You want fewer chaotic swings in hunger, energy, and cravings throughout the day. And once those swings settle down, the body becomes more willing to pull from stored fuel. Think of your metabolism like a house with two available power systems. Most people use one only. That is glucose. They eat, spike, dip, snack, and repeat before fat burning ever gets meaningful time. So this 14-day approach gives your body repeated chances to remember its backup generator. And once that backup system starts responding, appetite begins changing in ways most people never expect. The first 3 days use a 14-hour fasting window and a 10-hour eating window. That feels approachable. You simply end dinner earlier. Then you delay breakfast enough to give digestion time to finish and insulin room to drop. It is gentle, but that gentleness is exactly why beginners are more likely to stick with it. These early days are doing something important behind the scenes. They are lowering fear. They are building proof. When the first stage feels manageable, the nervous system stops treating fasting like an emergency. And once that emotional resistance softens, the next step feels more like momentum than sacrifice. But the second stage is where the body starts hearing a much stronger fat loss signal. That is when beginners realize discipline matters, but design matters even more for lasting success. Now the fasting window moves to 16 hours, while the eating window tightens to 8. That small shift matters. Those extra hours are powerful. They extend the period where insulin stays lower and incoming food stops interrupting the process. And that longer, quiet stretch gives stored energy a better chance to move forward. This is also where meal quality becomes much more important than people think. Break the fast badly and hunger rebounds. Break it wisely and control improves. Protein and healthy fats at the front of the meal usually create a steadier response. And that first meal becomes a steering wheel, pointing the rest of the day towards stability or chaos. You do not need complicated food rules here. You need clear ones. Keep meals simple. Choose foods that are recognizable, filling, and less likely to provoke a fast crash later. That simplicity helps the fasting window feel easier because tomorrow is shaped by what you choose today. But the middle stretch is where this plan stops feeling like a schedule and starts feeling different. From day 7 through day 13, the plan moves into an 18-hour fast. Now the signal deepens. The body sits longer without incoming calories. That creates a stronger opportunity to rely on stored fat, especially in someone staying consistent. And this is where many people begin noticing steadier focus, less bloating, and fewer random cravings. There is also an internal cleanup story happening underneath the visible results. This is where autophagy matters. It is not magic. It is a regulated recycling process that helps the body deal with damaged cellular material. And while people often exaggerate its timing, the general principle still matters for metabolic health. Picture a workshop where broken tools, scraps, and dust cover every useful surface. Work becomes slower there. Precision becomes harder. And even good tools become less effective when the environment stays cluttered too long. Autophagy is part of how the body reduces that clutter, so function can improve over time. But the final day can either sharpen the whole experience or turn it into unnecessary stress. On day 14, the plan ends with one full 24-hour fast. This is the deepest step. It is not meant as punishment. It is there to let your body experience a longer period of low insulin and rising ketones. And that contrast can teach you more about your metabolism than another ordinary day of eating. Ketones are fuel molecules made when the body relies more heavily on fat. Your brain can use them, your muscles can adapt, and for some people, that shift creates a surprisingly steady sense of focus and energy, not because fasting is mystical, but because fuel delivery becomes less tied to repeated meals. This is also why the plan ramps up slowly before asking for a full day. Preparation matters here. Adaptation changes outcomes. A beginner who builds gradually usually feels far better than someone who jumps into extremes. And when the body feels safer, compliance improves, stress drops, and the results often look better. But none of that works well if the eating window keeps sending mixed metabolic signals. During the eating window, simple food choices create far better results than clever tricks. Prioritize protein first, then build around fiber and healthy fats. Keep carbohydrates moderate enough that energy stays steady instead of turning into another roller coaster. And remember, fasting cannot rescue a daily pattern built on processed foods and rebound cravings. Single ingredient foods make this easier for beginners. Eggs, fish, meat, yogurt, vegetables, fruit, potatoes, rice, olives, avocado, beans in reasonable portions. Those foods are easier to trust. They usually create more satiety and less confusion than engineered foods designed for endless snacking. And that matters because fewer cravings during the eating window make the fasting window easier tomorrow. How you break the fast matters just as much as how long you fast. Start gently. Protein first works well. Then add fats and slower carbohydrates instead of leading with sugar or refined starches. That sequence often keeps blood sugar steadier and makes the next several hours more manageable. So, what should you do when hunger surges, energy dips, or motivation suddenly disappears? Hydration is a bigger deal than most people realize when they start fasting. Minerals matter too. A little sea salt and water can help. And light movement like walking often smooths hunger, lowers stress, and improves the fasting experience. Small supports change a lot. Also, remember that hunger is not a straight line. It comes in pulses, then it fades. If you stay busy, change your environment, and stop negotiating with the clock, the wave often passes. And once you experience that a few times, fasting starts feeling less threatening and more teachable. The real value of this plan is not just a smaller waist in 2 weeks. It is metabolic confidence. You begin learning that your body can function without constant feeding and constant panic. And once that lesson sinks in, food stops feeling like an emergency button you must keep pressing. If this helped you see fasting more clearly, stay with us for the next video. We will break down the meal timing mistakes that quietly protect visceral fat. Because when you understand the signals, fat loss starts feeling less random and far more workable. This content is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Some parts of this script were supported by advanced artificial intelligence tools to structure and refine information. All ideas here are grounded in real metabolic science. Because clarity matters more than hype.